Okay, so I'll make myself the bad guy. So, um, Rick is a nice man, does a lot of chesed. Come over to him and I ask him for a loan, and he's nice enough, gives me a nice big loan, helps me out. And as time goes on, due date passes, he doesn't get his money back, and I say, I didn't come up with it yet, and it goes on and on and on, and eventually Rick notices I have just got a nice new watch. Curious, but okay, he judged me favorably. Then he sees got a nice new car, even more curious. And then he sees I'm putting another level onto my house. And he says, all right, that's it. I was schemed. And scammed. Scheme came against me.
Illegal.
And he realizes that I'm not legitimate, and he lost his money.
Did he ask you to explain it?
What did you say?
Yes.
What did you say about?
Did you ask for an explanation?
He approaches me, and I show him my true colors that deny the claim, and tell him that,
You told me you didn't owe anything at all.
I don't really owe anything, and thought this, thought that, and the
you denied that I gave you the money.
Denied the money, and
You got a bank statement, right?
And I didn't do it, and we didn't do a contract. We did this all verbal.
right.
Well, how did he pay? Did you check, cash, credit, what?
Whatever it was.
Because he would have a record if he really needed
The
There
it.
was
check,
no-
yeah, you have a check, but
Right.
probably it could be cash.
Right. Well, either way, he doesn't want to go through the whole process, and it drags on for a very long time, and eventually, Rick comes up with an idea of how he's going to get his money back. He decides
Put a lien on your house.
he's going to sell me something that I really want, and I'm way past this. We're 20 years down the line. He's got a good heart. He makes it like he forgot about it. We're all friends again. I don't even remember. I did this to 100 other people, and now Rick decides, but I still want to get my money back. This was not fair. So he decides he'll sell me a diamond, sell me a house, whatever the case is, whatever he's in sales for, something that I'm interested in, and completely forget about this thing that happened 20 years ago, and I enter into the deal and I take interest. And he says, okay, you want to buy this diamond, give you a good deal right up front, $10,000. You want to buy this house, give me a down payment, I'll give you a good deal. And I go ahead and I enter into the deal. And then Rick says, I got you back. That house is not going to you. Those $50K that you just put on the down payment, you owed me that. Or that diamond, it's not going to you. Keeping it right here in my store. That $10,000 that you paid, that was mine,
So you paid him and didn't get the merchandise.
right?
So you weren't so bright either.
And right.
You trusted him.
Well, I trusted him. He's such a trustworthy guy. I'm the crook here. I know he's a trustworthy one.
Oh, okay.
And Rick says, I got my money back. That's it. Fight him down, but he's too big and strong. And he keeps his merchandise, he keeps his house, etc. So the money he got he was entitled to, but it came through this, call it act of deception. So the question that I want to try to deal with today is, number one, did it work? Is it really true? that it worked, and the sale is void, and I'm not entitled to the house or the diamond or whatever it is that I purchased.
So that was done without documents also?
Sure. Or, and that's question number one. Question number two is Rick allowed to do that? L'chachila. Is he permitted to do such an act of deception? Now, typically, deception is usually usher and something that we're supposed to stay away from in every way. But in this type of a situation, where Rick is getting what he's entitled to, and this was the only way he was able to do it, is that permitted? Anyone have any thoughts?
You're transacting both ends of this thing without documentation, is that what you're saying?
It could be that there was documentation. It's not really going to change the case so much.
Well, it might change the outcome.
I don't think it will. They could have both been done with documentation. As we'll see, that seems to be the simple case.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem kosher even to get your money back that way. I mean, but
I would say it's definitely lechatchila aser. The question is,
What
what
about
done, maybe now that you're the one that has the money. So I mean, Rick is the one that has the money. So you have to get it back from him somehow. That's on you.
Well, let's say we're dealing with, instead of you and Rick, we're dealing with, say, Lovin and Yaakov. I mean, if one is tricking the other, can he get tricked back? I don't know.
that's what we're talking about here.
That is what we're talking about. By Lavan and Yaakov, we'll have to go into that parsha. Maybe we could talk about it next week. I don't know if that's exactly comparable. There wasn't exactly.
I don't know if
an act of
I don't know if
trickery.
he tricked Lovin back, so that's the
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's look in a Mishna here in Kesubos on Daf Kuf Yud. The Mishnah doesn't have.
Yeah, before
It's-
you
yeah.
get there, I would think I think I should have gotten a beis. If we're both Jews, we're both frum, I would say let's go to a beis then and work.
So I should have added on those details. So Rick went to the beis din, and he made his claim, and even it could be a case where it was documented, and the beis din paskin that I'm chayiv, but I'm very sly.
Yeah.
I slipped my assets, I moved them,
Yeah.
and I made them on. I made them.
Okay, so can't the beis din follow up and put him in cherem and take his seat in shul away from
So
him?
maybe I am in Chaim.
It's not a good thing to do to Rosh Kollel, though.
It's possible I'm in Chaim.
Oh.
It's possible I got out of it. It's possible the evidence wasn't clear enough. Whatever the case is, we'll still have this question of is there a monetary right, a legal right, and is it something that is permitted l'chachila? So the Mishnah here says, brings the following case. It's a different topic, but it sheds light on our topic. The Mishnah says that Reuven goes over to Shimon, and he says, here's a shtar chov, a contract that says that you owe me $100. Shimon says back to him, well, I have a contract. Now I should make it, instead of $100, I'll make it $100,000. Shimon says, I have a contract that you just bought a piece of land from me. So, what do those two things have to do with each other? So, what Shimon is claiming back, he's saying, well, if I owe you money, then why would you pay me for land? I owe you anyway. So why would you pay me for the land? You should get the land for free. Right? So what is this? So it's a proof that it must be that I don't really owe you money. Why? Because really I paid back a long time ago. meaning that the love, the debtor, is claiming he already paid. He already paid off his debt, and I'll bring you a proof that I paid off my debt. Look, we have a shtar mechira, a sale document on a plot of land. Why would you agree to such a deal? Why would you agree to give me your land if I owe you money anyway?
Well, timing is important on this. For example, I've been ripped off from you.
Very good.
But it's a short term. I still think I'm going to get it, but I want some land, so I see it as a separate issue. So it depends on timing. If I'm still have some trust that you're going to pay me back, but you're selling me land.
Right. Now it has to be exactly very good. That detail has to be added in, and this the Gemara. This is spoken out over here, that it has to be that it's already past, it's already overdue, and after it was overdue, then the sale on the so we have the dates of all the contracts here, and after it was overdue, we see that the sale of the property took place, and the question is, if the lender, if the creditor is really owed money, then why would he have to sell a piece of land? Now, just to speak out this last point, this comes out from the Gemara over here, I'm not just summarizing, is that the case is that they purchase the land with money, or they pay the money up front in order to buy the land. So the question is, why would the creditor give the land over? He got money that he's supposed to get. He was owed that money according to what his shtar says. So this is a proof, says the Gemara, this is a proof that really the claim of the lova, of the borrower, is really true, that he really did pay back. Or else it doesn't make sense that any lender, any creditor would have agreed to sell and give up this piece of land for money that he's already owed. Meaning, he would have just kept the money. Right? If we pay attention to the calculation. Meaning, he would have just kept the money. Right? The lesson of Rashi is, Ba'omer shtarchum mizuya for pro. I see that your shtar is paid up. Shem hayisa chayiv l'cha lo yisa moicher li asasada. You wouldn't have sold me the sada. Sheyalacha ligvais es chayva. You would have just taken the money and kept it. You're owed that money anyway, right? The down payment was $100,000. According to what you're saying, I owe you $100,000. Why would you then sell me a piece of karka? Why would you sell me the land? So what is this Mishna, this Gemara assuming over here? It seems to be assuming that if the creditor indeed was owed the money, then he would be able to just pocket the money. No reason that he would give over the land. He would just be able to pocket the money. Says the great Rav Hai Gaon. Rav Hai Gaon has a sefer. Rav Hai Gaon's one of the Gaonim, as it sounds like in his name, from the earlier, even before the Rishonim. He has a sefer on monetary law, and he brings us as a proof about our case. He says the assumption over here is that it's in Sharnon Gimel. He says the assumption over here is that the creditor, who's also the seller, would have been able to keep the money that he received as a sale. Why? Because he's anyway owed the money. Oh, but it came as a sale. Still, he would be able to keep it.
Would
But he
be
makes a
obliged
very-
to provide any merchandise at all?
Oh, very good. Says Rav Hai Gaon, but let's think about this for a second. Was there a sale or was there not a sale? Right? Let's go back to my case with Rick. So Rick sells me the house. I pay him $100,000. We have a whole contract and everything on this house that I'm buying from him. And he says, this $100,000 was owed to me already. The sale is off. He made two comments. Number one is that the $100,000 is owed to him. That was true. The sale is off. Is that true? Nafka mina, the difference being, what if I then provide the money?
You mean the old money?
The old money. I come up with another $100,000 that I owe him. So he says,
So
no, that wasn't a sale. That was just a ploy.
So
Because you owed me the money. I was just doing that in order for me to get my money
so
back.
he kind of called his bluff.
So I called his bluff. And
But how do you benefit from that? You still
I
have,
wanted this house. It's a great house.
Oh, you do get the house.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It was a great deal. That's how he ployed me into doing it. He gave me a good deal. That's why I agreed to it.
Yeah,
I
but you're
gave
giving
him-
him money that you already owed him. How does that work?
In addition to the money that I owed him before,
Oh, okay, so
I
he's-
paid him for the house.
Oh, okay.
So I owed him $100,000 for my first loan that I got from him
All right,
when
so-
I frauded him,
So you made good on it, sort of,
and then
but he doesn't like you in general, so he doesn't want to follow through.
well, he didn't want to sell his house. He only did this because it was the only thing he could think
I
of to
mean,
get
the
his
house-
money
I mean, the
back.
house he lives in.
How's he losing?
The house he lives in.
Or another house, whatever it was. It was a good piece of real estate. He wasn't looking to sell it. The only reason he did this whole thing was because he realized that he's dealing with a rabbi, that he's dealing with a dishonest person, and that's the only way he's going to get his money back. So that's why he did this whole thing.
So he got his money back. But now
So he
seems
got
to
his
be-
money back, but now he doesn't want it. He doesn't want this
So
sale.
I get 200,000, but I sold a house that I probably didn't want to sell.
But you're saying back to me, no, keep your other 100,000. I got the 100,000 from the first 100,000. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And the sale was not a real sale. I was just doing the sale because you're a fraud.
Yeah.
Says Rav Hai Gaon, it is true that what Rick did is legitimate, but it's fully legitimate. The sale is binding. Now, he doesn't explain exactly why. Presumably, though, the basic understanding is that why not? We have a principle in the Gemara called Devarim Shebelev Einam Devarim.
Say that again.
Devarim Shebelev Einam Devarim. Words of the heart are not words.
So if you didn't get it in writing.
What that means is that if we are making a deal, if two people are making a deal, and one of the people has a certain stipulation that he's wants to be part of this deal, whatever the deal is, rental, sales, whatever it is, and he keeps it to himself, and he doesn't stipulate it at the time of the transaction, that is not binding. Einam dvarim, it's worthless. Meaning, basically it means unspoken words are worthless. That's basically what the Gemara is saying. So I think we'll understand it better when we apply it to this case. It's true over here that when Rick approached me, listen, I have a great real estate opportunity for you. You could buy this house for $500,000. It's such a great house, and you just give me as long as you give me a down payment, $100,000 up front, and I'm thrilled because this is a great house and it's going to go up and everything. There was no mention of what happened 20 years ago. Right? One who Rick might have known, others who might have known about what happened, they might have known. They might have known that the whole reason to do such a ploy was only to get his money back, but nothing was said. Nothing was said at the time of the transaction. A transaction which was done without any other stipulations put in at the time of the transaction. Einam dvarim. It is not. It doesn't count. It's not binding. Therefore, says Rav Hai Gaon, what Rick did is legitimate, but at the same time, the sale is binding. Now, what does it mean it's legitimate? What's going to be practically done from this? So really what just happened is that Rick made a sale in addition to a deal that he had before. Meaning he had lent out $100,000. Now he got $100,000 for a piece of real estate. I really became the owner of the real estate, and I still owe him $100,000. Now, what did he gain? So what he gained is that now he could take whatever it is that he sold and have collateral. Rick's problem is that I was putting away all my assets. I was hiding all my assets, and he couldn't get to them. What he now did is he made it that I became the owner of the house that is in his possession, that I won't be able to hide from him. So what he gained from the deal is that he now has a mashkon, he now has a collateral, he now has somewhere where he knows he'll be able to collect from. But at the same time, if I come up with the money, I get the house. Now, is there anything... Now, I just want to make one more point about this. This is all if we're talking about real estate, karka, talking about land, house, something of that sort, a field. We're talking about real estate. Because in Hilchos Kinyanim, in what it takes to make an acquisition on real estate is money. Money completes the deal. That's what it says in the Talmud. Money completes the deal when it comes to real estate. It could be done in other forms also, but money also works to complete the deal. The money was given first here, and the deal is complete. Therefore, I became the owner of the house, and I owe another $100,000 in addition to the $100,000 that I gave based on my original borrowing. Now, what if instead it was like one of our other cases? It was a smaller number. It was I owe him $10,000, and it was a diamond or fancy watch, and I paid him $10,000, and the same thing. And he says, "No, you owe me these $10,000." So there, it's a little bit different.
Because it's not real estate?
Because since it's not real estate, the Gemara has a big sugi about this, whether Mos koinos or Mos einon koinos, and we pass Mos einon koinos. That means money does not complete a transaction when it comes to movable items. Movable items meaning non-real estate. So in that case, I would not become the legal owner of the diamond. However, there is what's called the mishapara. A mishapara is a reference to I guess we'll call it a curse, that Chazal put on a person who backs out from a deal after payment. So that means that even though he has a legal right in Beis Din to back out, if he backed out, then he is what's called, he's makabel mishapara, which is a very negative thing. So we would basically have the same format, except it would be a little bit different. In this case, if it was a movable item, what would happen is that I would not become the owner of the diamond. Rick would still be the owner of the diamond.
Because you didn't actually take it.
But if I like the diamond and I come up with the $10,000 and I say, okay, here's a second $10,000 for the diamond, says Rav Hai Gaon, the same principle would apply, that if Rick doesn't want to give it to me, then he's going to get a mishapara for backing out on a deal after there was a monetary payment. Because my monetary payment, says Rav Hai Gaon, was really as a sale. Because dvarim shebelev einam dvarim. That was what took place. So really, what Rick did was just do a sale, which was worthwhile for him in that it gave him assets which he knows he'll be able to collect from. It got me to pay up some of the money, and now he'll be able to take a mashkon, he'll be able to take collateral either on the property that he sold or the diamond that now there's a mishapara on, but that is basically what happened.
Question. So the scenario versus the land, but let's say a diamond. My real intent here is to get my 10,000 back. So you're saying I do a deal with you, but there's no kinyan or anything. I just verbally say I'll sell you the diamond.
And I paid you money.
But nothing's passed yet.
There was nothing passed, exactly. If something would be passed, then I would become the legal owner.
Okay.
Now, so that's the basic halacha that
So
comes.
you're saying I look bad in that case,
So you could give up the diamond, but says Rav Hai Gaon, one could have thought maybe that since this whole thing started, that you were the one that was wronged, right? I was the fraud, and you just did this whole deal just in order to get your money back, because it was the only way for you to get your money back, because I was hiding all my assets. So I would have thought to say, okay, so maybe in this case you don't get a mishapara.
And translate mishapara.
Mishapara is a curse that Chazal. Mishapara means one who paid. It's just shorthand for the rest of the phrase, which means one who was paid, and basically the money was transferred, and then he backs out, and then it talks about a whole curse that person gets.
Okay.
So I would have thought that maybe in this case, Rick is not responsible for a mishapara because he only got into this whole deal because he was really owed the money. Says Rav Hai Gaon, no, this is a regular full-fledged sale. It might be wise for Rick to do the sale because he's creating assets that he'll be able to take as a collateral. It's a way to get me to pay up front that he'll be able to get. He'll be able to find assets that he'll be able to take as collateral. But the sale is binding either as a full-fledged sale, or in the case of movable items, it is binding as a mishapara. Now, is there any better way that Rick could have done it, that he would be able to get me to pay up front with the same type of strategy, without having to give up on his house or give up on his diamond? Is there anything else that he could have done? So there's a fascinating Shach. Where are we going here? There's a fascinating Shach about the sugya of Toyu v'zavin zvini zvini. Shach. The Shach is a Sifsei Kohen. He's a commentator on the Shulchan Aruch and Choshen Mishpah and Yeridea. And he says he's commenting on really a different case where a person was basically coerced into a sale, and he agreed to it, but it was only because he had whatever the coercion was. He was getting beaten, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, he agreed to the sale, and there's a whole discussion about whether the sale works or not, and at the end of the day, there's a lot of different details when it works. But the Shulchan Aruch is talking that it works, and the Shulchan Aruch says the sale is still going to work because the person still at the end of the day agrees to sell it. And the question is, how could a person get out of such a thing? So the Shulchan Aruch brings, this is from the Gemara, the concept of Mesiras Modah. Mesiras Modah means that the guy will say to two Eidim before, he'll tell the Eidim, to two witnesses, he'll tell the witnesses before, I really have no interest in this deal. I have no interest in this sale. The only reason I'm doing it is because they're being ma'anis me, they're coercing me into it. And the Shulchan Aruch says that works. Now, even though a little bit later I go to the guy, or he comes to me back and forcing me into the deal, and I agree to it, and it's in front of witnesses and everything. But I get back my other witnesses who saw that I told them this whole thing I was never interested in. The whole thing was only because they were pressuring me. Says the Shach.
So that's the answer to our first thing.
So says the Shach, maybe we could say the same thing over here.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an eitzah for Rick. Maybe what Rick can do is he can go tell Eidim, Perlow doesn't give up the money.
I'll tell
He
Chaim.
owes me.
I'll tell Chaim and Bob.
I'll tell
I really don't want this
Chaim
deal.
and Bob.
You guys come.
You don't want the deal. I owe you $10,000. I owe you $100,000 from 20 years ago. You were never able to get it. Anytime you bring it up, I push it away. Anytime you try to seize my assets, they're hidden. And you tell the Edom you're not interested in the deal. So does that work? So the Shach says that seemingly that would be a good eitzah. However, the Shach says that maybe it's different in our case, and maybe the sale is still going to be binding, and the concept of Mesiras Modah is only for a case where a person was actually being forced into a sale.
Yeah.
And he's saying that that it's only because of the coercion, and it's not really because I'm agreeing to the sale.
Yeah.
However, Kveger on the spot in Shulchan Aruch shows that there's a Mochamis. Mochamis is the Ramban, one of the great Rishonim, in Kesubos, that says, on our case that we're talking about, with me and Rick, on our case, that the sale is binding, im lo masar modah. If he does not do a modah, make a formal proclamation in front of Edom, says Rick Veger, we see that it works. So seemingly Rick would have an eitzah if he wanted to do this whole thing and have it saved without losing any real estate, without going, that he could devise this plan, tell Chaim and Bob, go to Edom, this is what happened, Perlow stole my money, I need it back, everything's solved. Is this allowed? So, I'll be honest with you, I looked a little bit, I haven't found someone who talks specifically about whether this is allowed. The question comes from the Gemara in Shavuos. The Gemara in Shavuos, which the Shach brings in Ayin Hay, talks about when a person is legitimately owed money, but he uses certain ploys in Beis Din in order to get the money with lies. So, let's say, for example, all three of you were all victims of mine. I victimized all three of you. So, all of you are owed money by me, but none of you have good Edom. So you come up, the three of you, with a plan. Each of you will serve as two Edom for the other one. So Chaim and Bob will be the Edom for Rick. Rick's owed 100,000. Chaim and Rick, everything will be solved. But they're not. The Eidos is not actually true. They didn't actually witness it. Says the Gemara, that's usher because of midvar sheker tirchak. The Gemara gives a lot of different examples, but basically, the Gemara gives like maybe 10 different examples of similar types of cases. Some of them are more with the dayanim, more with the judges. But the bottom line is what you see from there is that you're not allowed to lie even when you're rightfully going to get the money that's owed to you. Even when you're lying in order to get money which is really owed to you, you're still not allowed to do that. So the question is over here, would it be okay? So to me, I don't have any clear source, but just from the what it seems to be implied by everyone over here, starting with the Mishna, that this is something that Rick was allowed to do. Right? Because the Mishna is saying the reason why the other guy doesn't have his claim is because why wouldn't Rick do that? Which means the Mishna is assuming it's something that he could do. So I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but I'll just say, I'll end off with this. What I would think would be the reason why it would be permitted is because if you think about the logic of the Rav Hai Gaon, what's really happening is that Rick is not lying. He's not lying to get his money. What's really happening, whether he knows it or not, is that he's doing another sale.
He's offering an incentive.
It's a sale that's tactical because it will allow him to get a mashkon, to get collateral. But the words that he's saying to me, let me sell you this house for this, let me sell you this watch for this, is true words. It's a sale. So that's why I think it wouldn't be similar to the cases in in Shavuos, and I think it sounds like it would be 100% permissible, because what's happening is that what he's saying he's doing is what he's doing. There's no issur to do that which is tactical. And he's not doing it at my expense, because I really owe him. I'm really supposed to pay him. So he's doing something which everything he's saying is true. It happens to be that if I would know it, I wouldn't do it. It happens to be I'm trying to get out of it. But the words that he's saying are true. The sale that he's saying is a sale. It was smart. It was sly. But this way it seems to be mutter.